Friends, welcome back to another episode of Building Liberty, show we are using to tell you about Liberty Classical Schools and our work of developing a network of K-12 American classical schools in Georgia. And in this episode, I want to share some things that happened on this date. It's actually April 16th, 2025. If this video ever sees the light of day, it will probably be some matter of weeks or months later, because I want to talk about some things that are sort of time sensitive and have some political sensitivities around them that I would not want to put into the open air today. But it's been a great day. I'm actually headed home in the afternoon. I've got a meeting with my wife on some personal things, and but wanted to reflect on kind of two things that happened today that I think are interesting. Okay, the first is that the day started with a meeting down at the state capitol in the governor's office. It's in the basement, essentially. Part of it is in the basement of the state capitol building. I had never been in that suite before, and we met with one of Governor Kemp's legislative executives named Ian Caraway. Forgive me for not having his title precisely. But we were there with our general counsel, Rob Fortson, and with my colleague, Janet Tomko. She's our government affairs representative. And we've been working really hard at getting language into a bill that, in short, eliminates some red tape for charter schools that are trying to finance school buildings with public activity bonds, otherwise known as tax-exempt municipal bonds. And the details of the legislation are not all that important for our purposes here in this video, but it's been a really cool thing to see that our team has come together with council to develop some language and get it inserted into a bill. We had great support by Ed Setzler, who is a state senator from the Cobb County Ackworth region. Ed played a massive role in helping us get Northwest Classical Academy started in Kennesaw, Georgia. And we were very helpful to, very grateful for Ed for getting this language inserted into a bill, which was in a committee that he leads. And we also had another state representative who was very helpful to us. And her name is not at the tip of my tongue right now, so if I'm super good, I'll add this as a graphic to the video later. Main point being, we've had really great political partners and friends who've tried to help us along the way. This is a matter that actually will help all charter schools and, again, eliminate some red tape, help us sort of work around what could potentially be some local political resistance to the school choice movement. So kind of a thought that comes to mind: charter schools, all schools, by the way, are not morally neutral endeavors, as Mr. Andrew likes to say at Atlanta Classical Academy. He's very much right about that. The books that our students read, that your children read, and the people that they read those books with will impact their moral formation. In the same way, schools, and especially public schools and especially public charter schools, are not politically neutral. They are very much political entities that require all sorts of engagement with government. Obviously, we're publicly funded. And as our attorney said in the meeting today, there's no politics like school politics. And so anyway, it's not precisely why I got into this work, not at all, but it's part of it I actually enjoy, and it actually feels kind of cool to be doing our best to engage with government as citizens do, to hopefully make things better for others and to facilitate the important work of education in our society, in our culture. And so meetings like this are a lot of fun, and they're also just great reminders that we can hardly do anything alone. We really rely on so many experts around us, and we rely so heavily on those who are in public office or otherwise work in government to help facilitate a lot of the work we do. So we're grateful for that. And I don't know, I just wanted to share that kind of aspect of things as we give you this inside look into Liberty Classical Schools. And yeah, just know that it's sort of a pretty important part of what we do. The second thing I wanted to share, and this one's kind of close to home within the Liberty House, if you will. Have you all seen this YouTube video where the Blue Angels pilots are sitting around a conference room table and the mission leader is talking the team through the air show as they sit at a big fancy conference room table, and all the pilots are kind of sitting in their chairs with their heads bowed and their eyes closed and their hands in the positions they might assume if they were flying the F-18s that they fly. And he is, of course, the leader is talking them through the flight, and you can kind of see them moving their hands and pretending to press buttons in the planes and really just, in a static condition, going through the flight plan mentally as if they were flying it for real. And I think that is actually a really cool, first of all, an incredibly cool practice by people that are among the most talented and impressive on the planet, in my view. I served as a naval officer. Some of you may know I was a surface warfare officer, which is not exactly considered to be the coolest line of service. I'm proud of that service, and I love what we did, and I'm certainly grateful for the people that work on ships, because control of the sea is very important. But we do most of what we did at like 14 knots. It was the opposite of high speed, low drag. So I'm just super impressed with naval aviators. I've got many friends who've been naval aviators, including one acquaintance who was actually the CEO of the Blue Angels at one point. In any event, my point being, here's the point of that little story. We are in an entrepreneurial world, growing an organization. We've got 1,000 things going on. We, as I've said, are about to start a school in August of 2025. It will be our third, and we're hiring people. We're enrolling new students, and it's just a really frenetic pace. And so we have actually made a couple of mistakes lately, in part because we've been moving quickly, trying to make decisions, and feeling the urgency to get things done. And we have actually had more opportunities to do what I just described to you, this practice that the Blue Angels do, which is sit quietly together, breathe deeply, think about the work that's ahead, and almost as if it's possible, sort of fly the plan in our minds of the coming mission or the coming set of weeks or months. And I have this theory here that if we would take the time to do that more often, we might mentally engage with stumbling blocks, problems, hurdles, challenges that we need to solve as a team in the safe space of a conference room table. And that, that's the theory. And it's sort of, one you hear athletes talk about a lot, sort of visualization. For a golfer, I'm going to visualize that shot before I hit it. A basketball player might visualize that free throw before he shoots it, and so on. But I'm kind of holding that example of the Blue Angels in my mind a little bit as a lesson to myself, and maybe perhaps to some of the members of my team, that we need to take the time to do that in anticipation of what's to come, so that we might spot problems again while we're in a safe space and in a place to do something about them. And I'm thinking that is especially important in this kind of season of high growth and frenetic activity and lots of movement and lots of change. So, well, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully those are two thoughts that are relevant to you in some form or fashion, or maybe at least entertaining to you. Again, my goal in this show is to give you an inside look at our work, and it's not so much that I think it's necessarily applicable and important. I hope it's entertaining. Not so secretly. I want to draw you into our work. I want you to be interested in what we're doing and to see kind of the inside of what it takes to do what we're trying to do in Georgia, which is make American classical education available to every student in the state who would be interested in that kind of education. And why would we do that? Well, we authentically believe that it is good for kids, it's good for communities, and it's good for the nation that we would build students and young men and women who are strong in mind and in character and who are ready to take their place as responsible American citizens and who have engaged with the greatest thinkers, writers, and authors and politicians that have built the foundation of our nation, because it's a pretty great place and one that we hope to perpetuate, but we will only perpetuate it if we are intentional about passing those things that are good and true and beautiful about our nation and about life in 2025 to our students. So I hope you found some interest in that. You can always read more about us at libertyclassicalschools.org. And I'm Coach Kirby, and I'm going to sign off. Take care.